Hey everyone, welcome to round number one. This is really awkward because my sound didn't work for the first 3 minutes of this video. So what I'm actually doing is I am uh, talking over the sound for the first few minutes until we get to the part where it started working. I don't know why I keep having these sound issues. It's really frustrating from my end. But basically, we were on the draw and we kept a hand that was pretty good. It was Death Dealer into Anafenza. Just a really strong hand. A couple of Wingmate rocks, but we didn't have any. We don't have any removal, which can sometimes be an issue. So, what happened here so far is our opponent is played a forest or fetched, played a Sylvan Caryatid. So they're playing some sort of whip deck basically. But the first few turns for us are pretty tied. We just have to cast a Death Dealer here. We're just going to cast an Anafenza next turn as well, and so forth, and hope that it's good enough. Because Anafenza is actually an extremely powerful card against all the whip decks. It's a big body. It represents a fast clock. It also really is good against their graveyard stuff as well by shutting out whip and shutting out a lot of the graveyard stuff. So Anafenza is an extremely powerful card and very good against these decks. But here we're on the draw and we're starting out a little slow. We open a notepad window to write down some of the cards that Siege Rhino is going to be present, or that we're going to see because of Corsair Crewfix or whatever, like Siege Rhino in this case. And yeah, here we draw, and it's another tap land. We end up just playing the Mana Confluence out and casting the Anafenza and shipping it back and hoping to do something with that. Now, one important thing to note is always attack with Death Dealer first. He's not going to block with Corsair because I can just pump and kill his Corsair. You just get a free 2 points of damage in that way, and then you can tap out post combat for Anafenza, but there's no reason not to attack first. So here you see that we're about to attack first and get in a free 2 points of damage, and then afterwards we're just going to jam good old Anafenza the Foremost and try to see if that's going to be good enough to get the job done against this Rhinoceros that our opponent has on top of his deck. And he's probably not going to crack that Windswept Heath since he probably wants to draw that Siege Rhino. And I'll give you a little spoiler, he doesn't crack it. He is not interested in that kind of a game. So he ends up untapping here eventually. Eventually, he'll untap at some point. Alright, yeah, so he untaps here and he draws this, and there's a whip on top. And this is where things really start to get interesting for how he plays things out. And that's also right around the time that my audio starts working. So you guys get to hear the original sound again, starting, I would say, right about now. Either way, I really hope he doesn't put Rhino into play because I want to be able to attack with Anafenza, and I can't if he has a Rhino. But if he does, like, just try to save for the whip and doesn't cast the Rhino, okay. Well, he has the land anyway, so he gets to keep whip on top of his deck and still cast Siege Rhino. Which that's what this looks like. It is a Siege Rhino. Alright, so hopefully I draw a piece of removal. That would be fantastic. That would really be a delight. And we drew a lion, which is not a piece of removal. I could play the Wastes and attack with Death Dealer, but our opponent just lost disconnected. Okay. So I could play the Waste, then that gives me a free Death Dealer attack, but 2 points of damage doesn't mean anything in the long run, and that would keep us off of casting Wingmate Rock, which I don't want to do. So what I'm instead going to do is I'm going to cast Fleecemane Lion, and then I'm going to just play a Sandstep Citadel. If he attacks with Rhino, I'm just going to take 4, go to 9, and then next turn I can swing back, play a Wingmate Rock. And now my life total might get kind of low, but Wingmate can definitely pull me back in terms of life. especially with 2 copies if I ever get both going. So that's definitely the plan. And this is actually a lot of damage here. So even with like Whip plus Rhino, we can actually do a lot to try to catch back up. So just something to keep in mind there as well. We can't really attack, we just lose our creatures, and Anafenza is really important against this deck, so I don't want to lose Anafenza. Alright, he does not fetch because he definitely wants to draw that whip, so that means he doesn't already have a whip in his hand. We can safely assume that pretty much. Now I'm hoping that he doesn't have Hornet Queen. That's really where things probably get game over for us, unless we draw a Bile Blight. But, you know, if there's a Hornet Queen in 2 turns, we're probably not winning. And I'm really hoping that this looks like a whip here, so he's probably just going to, yeah, use this carry to cast this whip. Yeah, so there's the whip that we know about. And a temple, and he gets to probably scry that Satyr Wayfinder away because it doesn't really do anything with Anafenza. Oh no. Okay, he's keeping the Wayfinder. Maybe he has Hornet Queen and just needs a 7th land. Alright. I mean, if he attacks here, we can double block. So yeah, he's just gonna not attack. Alright, so now I'm gonna play this Llanowar Wastes. And what I can do is I can attack with Death Dealer, and if he blocks with like Rhino, I can just pump my Death Dealer to kill his Rhino. I don't get to cast Wingmate Rock, but I don't really care that much because his Rhino would be exiled thanks to Anafenza. So I don't think he's gonna block our Death Dealer, and then we can just play Wingmate Rock and go from there. So I'll just send just this Death Dealer in. He could also just block with Courser too, which is actually be kind of annoying, but I think I'm okay with trading a turn for either of those. But now we get to cast Wingmate Rock, and hopefully that helps us pull ahead in this game. Especially since now we can start attacking with these rocks, and basically by virtue of being able to attack with these rocks, we can trigger our other Wingmate Rock really easily as well. Alright, so Temple of Malady on top. Satyr Wayfinder in hand. I really hope that he doesn't have a Hornet Queen, but it kind of feels like he does, just based on the way he's playing the game. So we'll see what this is. Probably, well, 3, 4. Is this maybe a Murder's Cut? Yeah. So it looks like he's going to cut my Anafenza so that he can then Satyr Wayfinder and fill his graveyard for whip. It's unfortunate for me, but you know, it is what it is. And there's a Doomwake Giant. As long as he doesn't have a Hornet Queen or find a Hornet Queen, I think I'm okay. Oh, and he puts it on the bottom and he finds another Rhino. That's pretty bad for me. Well, this game is probably not in our favor, but you know, anything can change. We're not like that bad off. If his hand's not that good, we're okay. So we'll see what happens from this Wayfinder. Hopefully it bricks. He should have fetched with this Temple trigger on the stack since he was going to fetch to cast Wayfinder anyway. Alright, and he gets a Rhino and an Eidolon. Oh, and he has Freak on top. It's not good. That's not good. And this was not good. Alright, well, I think that we just Freaka. So I could send the Death Dealer in maybe as well, and he just doesn't block it because he just doesn't want to trade any of these guys for it. So I think that that's like kind of a free attack. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I get to gain 3 life. do some damage. Like, I think I'm okay just trading this Death Dealer for, yeah, like he's probably just gonna chump here, which is fine. Um, and now I'm gonna play another Wingmate Rock. And I'm taking a point so that I can play Sandstep Citadel, which I could have just played Llanowar Waste and not bothered, but I'd rather have access to 8 mana in 2 turns when it comes to Rakshasa Death Dealer. So Freaka in hand, Doomwake on top of the deck. That's not good. He's probably going to whip Eidolon to draw Doomwake, then cast Freaka to get another trigger off of Eidolon. If I had to guess. Alright, another land, which we knew about the Windswept Heath from the Satyr Wayfinder. Alright, so there's Freaka. So I guess he's going to wait for the Eidolon whipping thing. He's probably just going to whip Rhino this turn. Yeah, our draws have not been very good, so it's kind of a tough game to win. Like, we have a lot of good creatures, but good creatures alone are not, enough. But we are hitting him for 12 a turn in the air. He can gain a lot back a turn though. 5, 9, 10, 11. So, alright, he's going to shuffle away that Doomwake, which I guess makes sense. Alright, he has Llanowar Waste that he's going to draw next turn, which is good for us. Now this is probably a whip back of, I would assume Siege Rhino here. It just seems the most likely choice. Sorry the screen is so compacted. Probably Siege Rhino? Yeah. Alright. Interesting. Well, I think I want to get rid of the actual Rhino, to be honest. We're going to have to deal with that thing forever. So, I'm actually going to double block it and let him trade with... Well, maybe not. So here's the thing. We take 8 here. We go to 3, but I get to gain 8 back next turn, and then I have a Monstrous Lion and a Regenerating Death Dealer on defense. So maybe I just don't even care. Although it's going to be able to attack me every single turn. And I'm already going to have this Regenerating Death Dealer. Alright, we'll double block. If he wants to kill if he kills either of these, I'm okay with it. So. And he's going to kill the bird token. I think I'm okay trading my bird for his Rhino. Oh no, does he have another cut? Oh, okay, well that's a blowout. Alright, well the last card we didn't know about was a cut. So, that's bad news. Yeah. Well, you drew another brick. Well, I can gain 6 life, which is what I'm going to do. Deal my opponent 9. And now I can use Death Dealer to eat either Rhino or chump and regenerate either of these other two. So we're in okay shape. I mean, this isn't a great board position, but it's not like unwinnable or anything. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. I do need to draw like anything though. Like Abzan Charm would be perfect to exile Farika. That would be pretty much perfect. Alright, that Murderous Cut was real bad for us though. Alright, whip back Eidolon. Alright, draws Sylvan Caryatid. Alright, Soul of Innistrad is pretty bad for us. Make a snake, draw Soul. Yep. And then Downfall is really bad for us as well. Alright. Alright, so here I'm just gonna block Farika and regenerate if this is what the attack is. No, he's just sending everything, okay. Alright, well, 2, 5, 9. We're gonna take 9 damage. 10 from using Death Dealer, but I think I have to block and eat this Rhino. So alright, yeah, I think I just have to eat this Rhino here. Or maybe, yeah, I think I have to eat the Rhino, so we do have to draw something though, like a land doesn't really do us anything. Alright, +2/+2. And I'll do it again. I'm gonna have to take a point for this one. Alright. And we're down to 3. So, not in great shape in that regard. We do get to go up to 9 next turn. Siege Rhino. Okay, that's a good draw. It's actually really good. Well, I think I'm required to attack with the Wingmate Rock and all of the tokens. But, yeah, we're not in... I think drawing an Elspeth would be awesome. Or Sorin. Sorin would be great. Now, white, or green, colorless, white, black, play a Rhino. Alright. So, now, I mean, we're trying to grind our opponent out from this board state. It's not easy, but we're going to give it a shot. Oh, there's Hornet Queen. So, that's probably the end of our chances of winning this game. Especially, he's probably just going to whip back Rhino as well, so that's kind of bad for us. And has Downfall in hand. Alright, so there's Rhino. And this might be a Downfall on our Rhino. Am I just dead? 4. I don't think I'm dead. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not dead. But I'm not in great shape either. Alright, so I can't block Rhino and pump Death Dealer because I die. I have to take 2 damage from my lands to do that. 4, 5, 6, 7. What I can do is block Farika and regenerate. So that's what I'm going to do, is just block Farika, regenerate. And then I take 4, 5, 6, 7 down to 2. And then he loses this Rhino, so we are grinding his board out a little bit here. Oh yeah, Sylvan Caryatid. That's right. We knew about that. And then the Rhino's gone. Another Death Dealer. It's actually not the worst. However, I wonder if I start. No, I don't think I can start attacking with this one yet. So we're just going to keep down this path of attacking with all of our Wingmate rocks. Well, if I attack with this, I gain 2 life by doing it. But by having 2 Death Dealers back, I can block Farika and eat any other attacker as well. So we effectively, gain life that way as well. Alright. That double block on Rhino was really bad for us earlier in the game, but I actually think it would have been worse for us if he had just killed a Wingmate Rock. So I don't really regret what happened. Alright, Hornet Queen was the draw, and another downfall on top. So that's bad news, Bears. We need to draw a Bile-Blight pretty badly. I think Bile-Blight would give us a fighting chance. I don't think that there's very much else that gives us a fighting chance besides Bile-Blight. I would also take an Abzan Charm to get rid of that freaking Farika, but we need to draw an answer for Hornet Queen first. So do we draw another land, which is not what we wanted to draw. I can't attack into these insects with Wingmate Rock, so all I can do is just pass the turn here. And then hope we draw Bile-Blight next turn. Or something. Anything really. Another whip. Yeah, whip's cool. I'm fine with the whip. Alright, so Soul of Innistrad and Hero's Downfall. There's 2 cards in his hand. And he has a whip on top of his deck, which doesn't do anything. Let's see what he decides to jam with. Really, all the insects. So, because of that, like, he's fine with that because then he can just block our Wingmate Rock with his Hornet Queen. I'm not going to block. But what he can do is he can block one of these Wingmate Rocks with Hornet Queen and then whip Hornet Queen back as well. So, that's kind of a smart play on his part. But I'm really hoping to draw... Well, Anafenza actually doesn't do it because he has Hero's Downfall in his hand. So, I'm hoping to draw Bile-Blight. Oh, wow, we did draw Bile-Blight. Okay, so... Here, we have to make this attack with Wingmate Rocks, and we're going to lose one of them to Hornet Queen. But then he can whip back the Hornet Queen, and we can Bile-Blight all 8 insects. Well, he does have Hero's Downfall, but generally speaking, we can Bile-Blight all 8 insects. Maybe we can bait him into using Hero's Downfall on like one of these Wingmate Rocks when we attack. And maybe well, the thing is he can just use Soul of Innistrad on his Hornet Queen. Oh, he's not even blocking. Okay. That's a surprise. Am I just dead? Alright, well he's gonna Hero's Downfall one of these. I'm gonna regenerate. So I might just be dead. Let me think this through. 1, 3, 8, 9. I'm not dead. Maybe I am. I think I'm actually exactly dead. We'll see. Alright, so attacking with everything. I wonder if is there a keyboard shortcut for that? It looked like he did that really fast. So I guess I can survive, but I have to lose my Death Dealer because I can't regenerate it. Because I'm gonna go to 1 from this attack. So 2. So this is 7, 9. That's 10 actually. 3, 5. Okay, I'm dead either way. Yeah, I guess I misplayed that. I don't think we were winning either way though. But oops. All right, sideboard time. Well, let's bring it back to nature. I don't want to bring in actually more Bioblights. I think I'm actually happy with only 2. Well, maybe 3, because like you want it for Hornet Queen, but you don't want it for other situations. Like it is good against Eidolon though, but we also bring it back to nature for Eidolon. So I don't want to like overload on that kind of a thing. I'm not sure what to side out. I want to cut. I think I only want 2 back to natures because he's probably going to board out like Doomwake Giants and some of those cards. So I think having just access to 2 is fine. And I kind of want to cut this Murderous Cut. Well, it's probably just better than Hero's Downfall, right? I guess it would just be better than Hero's Downfall. So I'll go ahead and cut a downfall because I want as much pressure as I can have. And then I want a handful of answers like Charm, Downfall. I want to draw like if we had drawn like 1 Abzan Charm and 1 Downfall that game, I think we would have been able to win. If we could have gotten Freak off the board, I think we could have maybe won. Or even Courser really did a lot for him that game. So I think I like this. I don't want to. I like Back to Nature, but I don't want to overload on it because it can be awkward sometimes against like Siege Rhinos and stuff. But I like the Planeswalkers though because a lot of times they side into a more controlling game plan. So having access to Planeswalkers is pretty sweet. And I think maybe if we had had like a Sorin or an Elspeth that game, we would have had a better shot. Alright, this hand's great, so we'll keep it. We have turn 2 Death Dealer, turn 3 Anafenza. But this time we're on the play, and we have an Abzan Charm, so this seems a lot better for us than it was last time. Where we were on the draw, fell a little bit behind, and just never found a piece of removal to clear the way. And I think these whip decks are one of the better matchups for this deck. And it's definitely a reason to play Abzan aggro, but sometimes like games go like the last game did, and you just get wrecked. So, like the whip decks are definitely able to just win a lot of. It's like, Junk Reanimator or Birthing Pod and Modern things where they could just win any game. Their deck's just powerful enough to just win any game. Ooh, Thoughtseize is bad for me. Probably takes this Anafenza. Although between double Death Dealer, if he doesn't have Bioblight, we actually have good pressure. So I'm gonna really hope that he doesn't have Bioblight. But like my guess is he takes Anafenza. We play Death Dealer and Scry, attack him for 2. He's at 16. Suddenly he's facing like 8 damage a turn. Okay, but he took Abzan Charm, so that means he definitely has a removal spell for Anafenza. I'm not going to disguise the fact that we drew a Plains, like no reason to take an extra damage for no reason. But yeah, he definitely has a removal spell for Anafenza if he's willing to take that line of play. Glare, okay. We drew Bile-Blight, which isn't the best. But we do have a good bit of pressure here. I'm just going to attack for 2, then play Death Dealer, then play Temple. No reason to play it any differently. And then hopefully we find something like a Wingmate Rock. And hopefully he doesn't have a Bile-Blight of his own, which I know some of these decks have started playing Bile-Blight, but I mean, we're not really in an advantageous board state here, so I'm not going to really play around it. Alright, well, Back to Nature is the card that we see. As good as this card is, the card I'm worried about in playing is Siege Rhino, so I'm actually going to bottom it because it really doesn't answer anything right now. So I don't want to draw a situational card. I want to kill him before he can like recover, and I don't want to draw a situational card that may or may not even be good. So here's just a Satyr Wayfinder. Probably has Murderous Cut. He hits a bunch of lands and a Wayfinder. And he takes a Llanowar. He takes a Temple of Silence. Okay. So now if he has Murderous Cut, he can just cut one of these guys now. So I kind of expect him to do that if he has Cut. And if he doesn't do that, then like maybe he just doesn't have a Cut. Because he's giving us a chance to untap with Regeneration mana up. So yeah, this is probably a cut at this point. Maybe yeah, so he is going to just fire off the cut immediately. Which, not what I like, but I really can't do anything about it. And we'll just attack. Probably just blocks. Yeah. This game not going that well for us. Here comes Rhino. There's Elspeth. Wow, that's really good. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and play Elspeth, and I'm gonna minus her, since that would leave him with no way to kill kill Elspeth with his creatures. So then he has to either, if he has to like just play a downfall and spend a turn downfalling my Elspeth, or if he doesn't have a downfall, he probably just loses. So it's pretty sweet. It looks like he might have a downfall or a glare. Yeah, he has another glare. Now hopefully he doesn't also have a removal spell for this thing. Just another Wayfinder. And he gets a Llanowar Waste or a Mana Confluence. He takes a Llanowar Wastes. Now hopefully he doesn't also... Oh no, he has a cut too? Oh my god. Alright, well his hand was just pretty insane, so... There's no really getting around that. That was just pretty unfortunate. And here, I mean, I just have to just jam this thing. It's not exciting, but I'm not going to sit on it. That would have been perfect if he just didn't have Wayfinder into Black Source Cut. I don't know, our opponent's draws were pretty good. Oh well, I'm not going to complain, but it's the way it works sometimes. A third glare, jeez. Alright, I mean, it is what it is. Ugh, man. I guess I'm still in this game, but he only has one card left. If it's like a removal spell, it's really bad. Why? Oh my god, why do you have to have everything? I don't think I want to fire off this Bile-Blight yet. I'll save it in case I draw something. I mean, I still have a lot of really live draws, so... And that's one of them. It's actually a very good draw. Um, Now I can. He can't attack, and if I attack into him and he tries to double block, I can Bile-Blade to blow him out. Oh no! Don't commune with the gods, finding Hornet Queen. Well, so much for that Bile-Blade plan. Oh man. Alright, well I can still make the attack. So if he blocks I can downfall one of these, and I have to save this Bile-Blade though. Alright, no blocks. Now I'm just gonna Hero's Downfall this Anafenza. And I'm just gonna really hope that he doesn't draw an untapped source for his Hornet Queen. Why not? Yeah. Alright, well, why not? I mean, we're still like another Rhino away from being in this game, but man, this has just been really frustrating. If he draws a whip next turn, I'm just going to be sad. Alright, well, all I can do is attack. And see how he blocks. Alright, well, that's actually really good for us. So that block means I can Bile-Blight his insects, and it gets rid of all of them, and then he takes 4 down to 3. So now I'm a Rhino away from killing him, and he's also just dead to the trample on this unless he has something good. So that worked out really well for us. Maybe I can peel out of this game. Really? Come on. Means he drew something. He drew a removal. Probably drew a removal spell for Rhino. Man. Well, we're gonna have to, I mean, we've actually drawn fine this game, to be honest, but we're gonna have to hope for some top decks to get out of this. Oh yes! Speaking of top decks, that's a top deck. I'm gonna attack first though, just to see what he drew. He definitely drew something. Yeah, downfall. Alright, well, we did peel this Rhinoceros, so we are going to be going on to game number 3. Oh man, that was a game. Jeez. It was like we were drawing well and he was drawing like perfect. Oh man, but we ended up pulling it out with another Rhino off the top. Our opponent says, "What a game," and I have to, yeah. Oh man, alright, do I want to revisit how I'm boarding? This is back to nature. So, I didn't actually see, like, he might have boarded out of a lot of his stuff against back to nature. He said he's about to run out of time, which is true. He's getting pretty low on the clock. I want to cut another back to nature, and I want to bring in another downfall. He has Anafenzas too, which kind of makes me want Glare for Rhino and Anafenza. But I don't think he has any other white cards that are worth glaring, so I think we're going to stick with this. Yeah, we'll stick with this configuration here, and hopefully this works out for us. Okay, this hand is fine. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's not great, but if we draw lands, it's great. So because we can play a lion on 2, a charm on 3, rhino on 4, rock on 5, etc. So although he is thought seizing us, which is gonna hurt, but the Urborg helps a lot with this hand actually. Urborg really makes this hand go. So we'll see what he takes. I mean, this is a pretty hard hand to thought seize because if we do draw the lands, like he can take lion, but if we draw the lands, or if we draw another lion, it puts him in a really bad spot. Like he probably is best taking like charm or rhino, to be honest, and just trying to deal with this lion by playing better creatures, which his deck does do. Yeah, he takes the charm, which I think I agree with that. Yeah, and then we just ripped the land, so he would have gotten punished for taking something else there. Now hopefully he doesn't have Caryatid, force Caryatid. No, he doesn't. Sweet. All right, and we drew another rhino, which I think is good. We'll go ahead and fetch a plains. So I don't have to take. I don't want to take. I'm gonna be fetching at some point anyway. No reason to take damage from this Painland, and I'm fetching a plains because we have rock. I want a second white source for Wingmate Rock. Anafenza. Alright, well, we can't attack, and we don't have... But we do have Rhino Rhino for Anafenza, so I like our chances. Plus we have Elspeth and Rock when we get that far in the game, so... assuming that we even do. Alright, declare attackers, no blocks. This may be an Elspeth game where if he plays a Rhino here, okay, Courser. Alright, he has a forest on top. Bio Blight, not bad. But yeah, this is definitely a Rhino game. Green, I get to use black from Urborg, so I get to not take any damage. And I don't want to attack with a lion. I would if I was planning on Bio Blighting, but I'm not. So, we're not going to attack, and... Alright, that's the force that we know he has, and he has a commune on top of his deck. So he has to be wary of the fact that we can Wingmate Rock him next turn if we draw a land. So I feel like he's going to play accordingly. So Farika, okay. No attacks from him. Alright, well we drew the land, which is perfect. So now I'm going to attack with just Siege Rhino, and I'm actually fine trading Rhino for either of his creatures so that I can play Wingmate Rock. So, so I'll just send the Rhino. I don't want to send Lion because if he blocks, then I'd have to play the land monster sit, and that just bodes poorly for me. So I'd rather just Rock'em Sock'em. And now I think that we're actually going to be able to maybe kill him with the combination of rock damage and Bile Blight and Rhino. So the top of his deck had a Siege Rhino, which he's probably going to take. Yeah, so he gets a Siege Rhino. So he has a Rhino, and now he gets to play a land. Ooh, but he tapped the white source. That is awkward. So he can't cast the Rhino, and he doesn't have a creature for Farika. Maybe he has a Thoughtseize? Maybe it's a cut. Yeah, it's a cut. So the fact that he's spending 4 mana on this cut suggests to me that he probably has a downfall as well, which is not great news. Yeah, this attack also definitely just screams Hero's Downfall, so there's no way I'm blocking. Yeah, absolutely no way I'm blocking. And offense is a good draw. Now I could play Rhino, but I prefer to play Anafenza here, so that if he does end up losing this Courser in combat, it's exiled and he doesn't get the ability to make a snake with Farika. Oh, let's see. And I can always just Rhino him next turn. So let's go with white, black, green, play an Anafenza. And then there's no way he can blow me out with blocking, so we'll just do this. Alright, now he's going to block like that. And I'm just going to let damage happen, but he's probably just going to like kill my Rhino or something. Alright, well he's going to kill that. Okay, that makes sense because he has a Rhino of his own in hand. Alright, so now we know that the situation is that he has a Siege Rhino as his only card in hand, and he's drawing Anafenza. I kind of want to just finish this Courser off and then go from there. So yeah, like I don't think this BioBlight's going to really get any better, so let's go ahead and finish that Courser off. And because we have Anafenza in play, he doesn't get to get a snake out of it, so it works out pretty well. And then our hand is Elspeth Rhino. And he knows about the Elspeth but not the Rhino. So here he's just going to Rhino us, and then potentially attack with Anafenza, but maybe not. He doesn't attack, okay. Alright, and we draw another Anafenza. Okay, so oh man. Part of me wants to attack Anafenza and Rhino, putting a counter on Rhino. And then if he eats Anafenza with his own Anafenza, or if he eats Anafenza with Rhino, he takes 5 damage from Siege. He would take 5 damage from Siege Rhino, go to 6, and then I could play another Anafenza the next turn, have another Rhino to kill him. So I do like that play. And his hand's just another Anafenza though, so he might be willing to just trade off and so forth. And he might double block my Rhino as well, which is what he's doing, which I'm okay with that. I get to eat his. We get to trade Rhinos essentially, but he doesn't get it in his graveyard, and I know that I have this other Rhino. So green, black, white, colorless. So I know that I have this other Rhino now, and now he has an Anafenza in his hand and nothing else. Looks really good for us, but you never know. Okay, and we ended up winning. Okay, wow, that was like a really crazy match actually. Yeah, I couldn't believe the way we came back in game 2, but it was kind of crazy. Sorry if I was complaining too much. I just was getting frustrated by his peels, but we drew pretty well too. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this awesome round 1 against Abzan Whip, which was actually a really interactive match, and we ended up coming up out on top, but as you can see, both of us almost timed out, so it was very close and very long. So thank you for staying tuned. Hopefully you'll check out round number 2 coming up after this.